Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th Canto, Chapter 17, The Descent of the River Ganges, Text 2. Dhruva Maharaja, the famous son of Maharaja Uttanapada, is known as the most exalted devotee of the Supreme Lord because of his firm determination in executing devotional service. Knowing that the sacred Ganges water washes the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, Dhruva Maharaja, situated on his own planet to this very day, accepts that water on his head with great devotion. Because he constantly thinks of Krishna very devoutly within the core of his heart, he is overcome with ecstatic anxiety. Tears flow from his half-open eyes and eruptions appear on his entire body. So this is bhakti. Dhruva Maharaja took the Ganges water on his head because of his love for Krishna, because the Ganges had washed the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So this is what bhakti is all about. We should not be swayed by jnana and karma. That is what we constantly learn. Srimad Bhagavatam is pure bhakti. We may, because of our past traditions of impersonalism, have some tendency towards jnana and karma. Jnana means we take great pleasure in reading and analyzing the Vedic literature, or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version, in a theoretical way. We may enjoy showing our mastery of it, our ability to memorize, our ability to explain in using very picturesque words. We may take joy in that. That is jnana. We may take joy in learning more and more different kinds of literature, because jnana requires us to keep on digesting more and more. There is no end to it. That is what is jnana. The difference between jnana and vijnana is that in jnana, it is a theory. So once theoretically you have learnt it, there is nothing more you can do about it except to agitate yourself and try to think of different explanations. Since most of us don't have that kind of intellectual capacity, the next thing which we may do is to engage in reading more and more Vedic literature. And in this way we may waste our time. On the other hand, karma means we start doing pious activities in order to get material sense gratification. We have been taught how this activity is pious and that activity is pious. Go to this place and go do that puja. Go to visit this saint and worship that person, and so on, in order to get results. We do something in order to get these results. That is called karma. But bhakti is something so totally different. Bhakti is love. That means we must have a practice of love within our hearts. Love means when you want to do something just because it is related to a particular person, you want to do it, that is called love. So Dhruva Maharaja had this love for Krishna. If you remember, Dhruva Maharaja, as a 5-year-old boy, he meditated, and as soon as Krishna appeared, he fell in love with him and he forgot everything else. So this is what a practice is Krishna consciousness is all about. That we keep on chanting the holy names, not to say that I have finished 16 rounds, that is my advancement. I am following 4 regulative principles, that is my advancement. I read every day, that is my advancement. I do this every day and do that every day, that is my advancement. These are all the methods of reaching the goal. But the goal is not something which you achieve only at the end. As Guru Maharaj has explained many times, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives the goal in the beginning itself. Because we are like children, we want the sweet in the beginning. So in the beginning itself, when we start chanting, we start achieving some of that sweetness. Then what happens? We think that now we are going to outgrow that sweetness and we must start doing more advancement. Chant more, do this more, do that more, and so on. But the purpose being, I'm chanting more means I'm more advanced. I'm reading more means I'm more advanced. And I must go beyond all that pleasure which I used to get from kirtan and japa and in meeting devotees. Remember the early days when you felt happy just when seeing devotees, felt happy just when seeing the form of the Lord, you felt happy when hearing kirtan, You felt happy when singing. You felt happy when dancing. You felt happy when even seeing prasadam. Those old days, as Srila Prabhupada said, these are the good old days if you experience those days now. Nothing more is there to achieve except that in a purer and purer form. Everything else which we do is meant to get more and more of this. Not that it is only for new devotees that all these pleasures are meant. These pleasures are meant for the living entity. These pleasures are the life and soul of the living entity. So we must constantly get pleasure in all these activities. We must get pleasure in chanting. We must pleasure in seeing the Lord. We must get pleasure in seeing the devotees. We must get pleasure in serving the devotees. We must get pleasure in honoring prasadam. We must get pleasure in singing and dancing. So we must constantly get this pleasure and we must give this pleasure. Give Gauranga. Bhaktavriksha 4G. So the slogan, the question which I ask you every day is, will you 4G today? Will you give these pleasures to someone today? Will you give Gauranga today? I hope the answer is yes. Hare Krishna. Thus, in the commentary by Vijay Venugopal Das on Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 17, the descent of the river Ganges, text 2.